Hello, you are watching the Xander Gibb show. I can't see it on Facebook once again, but I'm hoping, here we are. We have liftoff. And I'm just going to go to the main page. Welcome, everybody. We, um, we're just letting the live feeds fill up, and I'm sharing the link, and you could do your bit and share the link to um, don't know what's happening. We are there. We are going live, and people are. I know what we need to do. You are watching the Xander Gibb. We need to make sure that the volume is down for one thing. I'm trying to copy the link. Here we go. I can't see it on. We've got me in double vision now. Just trying to Facebook. Trying to copy where we're at and share it. As I said, while the feed's filling. Again, but I'm hoping. Here we go. Shut up. You don't need to hear me twice. Let's just share this link for everybody. Interestingly, when I go live, my computer goes so slow. Maybe it's just, here we go. Sharing the link now. And posting. I'm posting everywhere else too. Feel free to do the same while we're warming up, while we're just getting the feeds filled. And I'm just sharing. But it is great to have you, those of you that are watching, those of you that are not in the live chat that are watching, and those of you who are just listening. Oh, yes, siree. I need a new computer, and I need to put the house lights on. There we go. We have liftoff. So just going to give it a second or two more before we play the opening titles and get into today's show. Oh, yes, siree. We are live. We are here. Okay, let me just click share. Hello, Ken. Welcome. We are going to be starting any second now. I am just going to share this. Share the show because so many of you seem to be very reluctant to do so. Share to a group. Share to a group. Soup for a group. That's what it reminds me of. When I see share to a group, I think of what's that American food place called? Reminds me of an American rock band, Panera. It always reminds me of Pandera. Oh yes. Hope you're good, Ken. It's taking people a while to come into the group. I'm just sharing the page, and then we will play the opening titles and get started. We got some great guests on tonight, and we will. I will even tell you who they are. In a mere moment when I have finished posting this into a few groups. Gotta really concentrate because what happens is I end up sharing it to to groups that I'm not supposed to, like the local garbage disposal group, and may get a little concerned because what does the Xander Gibb show have to do with garbage? Oh, yes, there we go. Hello, my Gina. Welcome. We are going to get started now. So please click that share button. Click your buttons now while we get started. Oh, yes, sirree. We are going in 5, 4, 3, 2, play those opening titles.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello and welcome to the Xander Gibb Show with me, Xander Gibb. Oh, yes, sirree, the best in Patriot broadcasting, live from an undisclosed location. It's great to be back with you. We didn't have Facebook footage last week, but I will come and say hello to you as soon as we have got the basics out of the way. As I said, I'm Xander Gibb because who else would I be? On today's show, I get on my soapbox and give you the chance to get on yours too in our phone-in. Now, the Yorkshire Pud himself, Nigel Bradshaw from Prisoner Cell Block H, joins us, and all Hawatmeh fashion icon and political candidate drops by too. You can have your say below in the live feed. And as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go. And you can call in when we get to that segment, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747 if you're in the USA. That's the USA for all of us Americans. Wrong teeth in today. And if you're in the UK, you can Skype me at Xander Gibb. I will, of course, be back with Joe Messina tonight on the real side at 7 Pacific time. And you can follow me on social media. It would help if I switch on the Skype just so that we are ready and rocking and willing to go. Just take a quick look at the live feed and say hello to everyone who's in there. Welcome. We will do individual hellos as soon as we get going. Hello to everyone who's watching who's not in the live feed. Come and join us. We don't bite. Okie dokie. Here we go. So what a very interesting week it's been. Iran, state sponsor of terrorism, have not really had a very good time of things. America took out their top general being a euphemism for top terrorist, who had killed thousands of people, including American citizens. Now, no doubt he was a threat, and I'm sure would have killed many more had Donald Trump not stepped in and stopped him. The Democrats, however, in their infinite wisdom, have turned Soleimani into some kind of saint who never had a bad thing done, never did a bad thing in his life, and never did anything wrong. Clearly, liberals of America have no idea about the terrorist regime that he ran, and how his killing spree and cruelty has affected the whole wide world. Donald Trump was right to take out this evil and eradicate him so that he could do no more harm. I'm not sure where drinking policy, I'm not sure where Drinky Pelosi gets off thinking that her and her band of anti-American idiots, also known as the Democrats, can demand that the Donald gets permission for every decision he makes, regarding protecting America. Clearly, the pills and the liquor have finally rotted her brain and attacked her reasoning centers, resulting in total overload. Now, the press conference she gave the other day, she couldn't even string a sentence together. Come on, Nancy. I mean, give up the ghost. What does the Democratic Party have in its leadership right now? A drunk, a bartender, a dementing idiot, and Chuck Schumer. No policies, no leadership, no chance of winning, and in the upcoming elections, and all this with Ilhan Omar laughing at the fact that Americans had been killed. But oh, excuse me, that's because she has PTSD from the terrorist training camps that she attended. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Now, Iran shut down the Ukraine plane, but the Democrats were cool with it, as it didn't contain any of their dirty laundered cash. They also don't care less when our diplomats get killed, but they do Iranian terrorists. Then we move to the Golden Globes. Oh, what a highlight that was, which turned out to be America's most liberal idiots getting awards for their idiocy. Well, I suppose they're acting as well. But you get what I mean. Thank God for Ricky Gervais for saying how it is. Now, it's time that Hollywood got a dose of reality. Thank God for Botox, or Tom Hanks would have had an expression due to Ricky's commentary close that I think they will not be asking him back next year. But apparently Prince Harry is available, which is a great segue to the next thing I want to talk about. That apparently Prince Harry is Britain has been through Brexit and now it's going through Megxit. Yes, folks, you heard right. Meghan Yoko Windsor has finally encouraged Prince Harry to leave the royal family. Now, there is a debate as to whether he will still receive public funding, bodyguards, and payment for accommodation, etc. Now, why should he be funded if he's not going to perform royal engagements? Now, I don't doubt there's a reality TV show in the offing, because let's face it, they gave one to the Obamas, so why shouldn't they have got one for them too? Now, people have likened Meghan to Wallace Simpson. Now, but clearly, Meghan is not cutting it. It's also been suggested that this is due to racism of the royal family. Yes, seriously. And the British media. Now, whilst the media are cruel, when you do start to court the media, you enter into a deal with the devil. But when she has criticized everyone, including Donald Trump, she should not be surprised at the backlash. Now, Meghan flew back to Canada, where she had left baby Archie with the nanny. She will fit in well with Trudeau and his terrorist-loving commies. And all I can say, Prince Harry, I do have a spare room you can stay in until you know what you want to do. That was my soapbox. If you want to get on your soapbox, go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. And we will let you get on yours too. Oh, yes, Sari. Let's have a quick look at the live feed. Let's go backwards. Hello to Martha. Hello to Dave. Welcome. Dave said he was watching on Twitch. Wonderful. Hello to Susan. Welcome to the show. Hello to Ken. I think it said hello to Ken. Hello to Maria. Susan says, do I see her? Yes, I do now, but I can't when I'm not looking at the screen. Dave said he wants to see Drinky Pelosi spit her teeth out during one of the press conferences. I would love that too. Hi, CV. Welcome. We've probably got time for one call if anybody wants to call. The number is on the screen, 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States. That's 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States. Or via Skype, you can Skype me at Xander Gibb to tell us what you think about what's been going on this week. Yeah, I have to say I was particularly infuriated at Ilhan Omar standing there and laughing while the news was given with regards to the fact that that people were killed, Americans were killed, like she took some kind of delight in it. I'm saying that this was, a direct result of her PTSD. But, I know people who have had PTSD, and I've had it myself after my car accident, but it didn't make me laugh at when people had died, So I find that rather concerning. But the other thing that really bothered me was this week the Geraldo was on. Geraldo was on. What show was he on? He was on Hannity, also with Dan Bongino, and a shout out for Dan Bongino because he really went to town on Geraldo. I think Geraldo should stick to entertainment because his coverage of current affairs has been far too politicized as far as I'm concerned. He says he loves Donald Trump, and then he's saying on social media that Trump supporters should be able to decipher that this was a bad move on behalf of the president. And I find that very concerning, to say the least. And I think that ultimately, Geraldo, if you're basing your commentary on pleasing your audience, then maybe keep your mouth shut, because we don't want to hear commentary unless it's what people actually think. I could maybe mildly respect you if I thought that you were saying that because you believed it. But how could any American actually feel like it's okay to kill American citizens and then kind of get away with it? Soleimani was not a good person. He killed so many people. He experimented on children. He did things to children to make their family do certain things. And to me, that's evil. And I think we have to confront evil. And they were plotting and planning things. And clearly, it's time for Americans to wake up and smell the coffee. Even if you're a liberal, get a freaking clue out there, because ultimately, for me, this is very cut and dried. If you attack the United States, if you mess with the United States, if you shoot down our planes, if you attack our people, then we're coming for you. Oh, yes, Serene. CV says his Facebook are making it hard for him to share. Thank you. They're really kind of giving us hassle at the moment. Have a look on my main page and you'll see why and what they've actually done and why we're having to broadcast through this page in order to be able to do the show. I'm going to do the intro for my first guest because he's going to call any second. Nigel Bradshaw is a veteran actor and voiceover artist. He's best known for his roles in Prisoner Cell Block H, which you all know I'm a huge fan of, where he played Dennis Cruikshank, a.k.a. the Yorkshire Pud. And he was also in Neighbours and so much more. He's going to join us any second from the United Kingdom, where he now lives, to tell us more. Hi, Sherry. Welcome to the show. Susan says she's going to Virginia on the 19th for a huge protest on gun confiscation. Yeah, I think that's really concerning. What I don't get is where we have the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, how can any state try and override the Constitution? Because the Constitution is sovereign as far as I'm concerned. And I think that legal scholars would agree with that. And it's liberal states that are actually trying to do this. And for so long they said, this is only about gun control. This is not about taking your guns away from you. It's actually about gun control. But it's it's a concern. It really is. Hi to Alan. I hope you're well. Happy New Year to you. Thank you very much for sharing, Susan. Yeah, guys, if you could share out the show out there, that would be helpful. I'm just waiting for Nigel to call in, and he should be joining us any second now, all the way from Hampshire down there in the south of England. He should be calling us any second now. So how has your week been out there? What has really irked you in the media? And what? Here we go. This should be Nigel calling us now. Welcome to the show, Nigel Bradshaw. How is the world with you, Nigel?
Very good.
Wonderful. It's great to have you. You're live in the United States too. Now, I suppose you were a little bit surprised to get a contact from me to ask you to come on the show, but we have thousands of Prisoner Cell Block H fans that listen to the show, and they're always saying, why don't you get this person on? Why don't you get that person on? And I've had so many people ask for you, and I thought, let's give it a go. Let's see if he'll come on.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of, when I went and did the last fan gig up in Birmingham, I was really surprised that there was a fan base in the States. It really kind of, just simply, I never kind of thought that. But then somebody was saying that Wentworth plays out there as well.
It does, and all the series of Prisoner Cell Block H were played in the United States too, they did. Some of the actors and actresses went and did a tour, and people like Sammy Davis Jr. were fans, and came to the set when they were in Australia and things like that. I mean, were you surprised of how much of a phenomenon that was and still is?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's what 40 odd years.
Yeah.
I was just I did many things before it, many things after it, and it was only about 4 or 5 years after I did it that I started to realise that it had such a following.
Yeah.
I do find it quite staggering, and it's extraordinary, its longevity, and it's amazing. And it gathered up a huge quality cast of actresses that perhaps normally wouldn't get regular roles because the nature of how they cast Prisoner Cell Block H, it gave these wonderful Australian character actors a proper vehicle.
Absolutely, and so many of the actors from the show all kind of share this awe of how it's still going, and how there's like a spin-off in Wentworth and stuff like that. How did you kind of get to the role? Because obviously you're an Englishman, and you were living in Australia at the time. And what did the bio say for Dennis Cruikshank's character?
Well, they oddly enough, they wrote it for me. I mean,
wow.
I took like that, took the fair and all that, had a northern accent.
Right.
And I mean, I came across because my first wife was Australian, so I'd worked for something like a good 15 years in England before going across. And I was completely unknown in Australia, so
right.
I went around auditioning for various places. Grundy's was one of them, and I did a general audition, and they rang me up. I'd only been in Australia, I think, 4 or 5 months, something like that, and they said, "Look, would you be interested in being as I said, the regular screw?" And they wrote it for me, which was very sweet, So.
Absolutely, and the interesting thing I kind of found was that you got a nickname from the cast, like the other characters very quickly, and they called you the Yorkshire Pud, being from your character being from Yorkshire. But I get from your accent in real life, you're not from Yorkshire originally.
No, I'm not from Yorkshire originally, though I do. Oddly enough, though, I do have family who came from that neck of the woods. And over the years, I did a big series for the BBC where I played a northerner as well. So
right.
I've been cast over the years playing northern roles. So why it happened is because I'd only literally been in Australia 4 months when they cast me. For me suddenly to do an authentic Australian accent around all the other Australians, they thought that it might not be good. And I said I was very comfortable with a northern accent, and apparently, I mean, this is actually factual, a lot of recruiting was done in Australia for prison warders, and a lot of them came from the north.
Wow.
So there was an actual, believe it or not, an actual factual base in me actually having that accent. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I've probably watched the series like 10 times, like back to back, and apparently this is quite common with fans of the show. But one of the scenes that you were in that really strikes me as kind of like sticks out in my mind was the Myra's flashback scene where you were like a zombie.
Oh yes, I do. I remember that. In fact, I think I kept for ages. I don't know where it is. There was the makeup from it. I had this kind of extraordinary face, which is like my face was melting. I can remember it.
Right. Yeah, that was very scary. And when you think about it, even though it was kind of like 35, 40 years ago, they actually employed some very ambitious techniques with the filming, don't you think?
Yes, no, absolutely. No, and they were. The other thing is some of the script. What happens with soap is, you have some episodes aren't so well written as others, but others were extremely well written, and I can remember thinking, wow, this could stand up anywhere. And I was always impressed with the kind of the quality of the editorship and the writers and so on.
Not like the props then, because apparently, I don't know how true this is, but a lot of the props and the walls and things could not stand up very well sometimes and were very wobbly.
That was always a joke. The shaky walls. But I think that's kind of, one of the reasons that people kind of love it as well.
Right.
There was a kind of irony behind it all, always,
Absolutely. I've been lucky enough to become friends with Val Lehman, who played B. Smith, and she can't grasp why people love her character. Being a double murderess, etc., etc. What kind of response have you had from fans about your character, Dennis Cruikshank?
Well, the thing about Dennis, he was a bit. I played a lot of kind of harder characters over the years, but Dennis was kind of like lovable and nice.
Yeah.
And so at times I thought he was a bit wet, but that was the nature of the character.
Yeah.
People liked his kind of softness, his goodness.
Yeah.
He was always trying to please. He was never too. What was that standard? Tough but fair.
Yeah.
And people like that. So. That was the kind of abiding quality of Dennis, I think.
Absolutely, and I think he was gone too quickly. When Frank Burke came back and shot him, and he ended up in a wheelchair, I kind of didn't think that was a very fitting end for Dennis. I wanted him to come back and be walking again and be able to work in the prison again.
I had an ABC series to go on to. So.
Wow.
So that is why, but it was an extraordinary ending with me becoming alcoholic and stuff with Meg and so on.
Right.
Going off into the sunset in my wheelchair. It was classic.
Absolutely. And Elspeth Ballantyne, Ellie was in every single episode. Is that right?
She was extraordinary. Well, nearly every single episode. She was the only. I think she was the only actress from day one to do the whole bridge of the whole series. Yeah, because how it works is I think there were 5 eps a week, and actually very occasionally an actor or actress. I think I did a couple of weeks where I do 5 eps, but most time you would do 3 or 4. It's just like the weeks that you worked, and Elspeth did literally every single week.
Yeah.
Over all those years, which is extraordinary longevity.
I'm on a couple of the fan sites, and people are always in Australia. They're lucky enough to still have Woolworths, and so people are always bumping into to Ellie in there. And I don't know. She never looks any older to me.
She's a kind of institution. I haven't seen her for a few years. I've not been back to Oz for a while, but no, she was amazing, and we stayed great mates for a long time after it. But she's extraordinary. I very fine.
I've never seen her in anything else but Prisoner Cell Block H. But I always worried for her because there was always something happening to her. She was either getting mugged or beaten up or raped or every single week it was something different.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the kind of producers sort of saw that as a sort of almost again like a sort of irony running joke that we couldn't go too long without something happening to Meg.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean the audience almost was looking forward to something would happen again to Meg, and on it went.
Absolutely. I get the impression that there were very few professional actors in Australia at the time because all of them seemed to be in everything. Now, I know you went on laterally to do Neighbours. How was that? And were there any prisoner actors in that at the same time as you?
Yeah, well, let me think. I think there must have been. I mean, there's bound to have been. What happens in Australia? It gets very centralised. So there'd be a pool of Melbourne actors. There'd be a pool of Sydney actors, and so on. And so, what's happening now is there's far more competition in the business.
Right.
Not only in this country but in Australia. So the pool is larger. I think then, 40 years ago, it was smaller. I mean, I don't know, there's probably 800 actors or something in Melbourne. I don't know, but it wouldn't be anywhere, it would be much, much greater now.
Absolutely. So I always wonder, because obviously it's been a few years since you've done that show, and you live in the UK now, as do I. Are you ever choosing your vegetables in Sainsbury's and someone comes up and says, "Oh, buy it's Yorkshire Pud"?
Yeah, not Yorkshire Pud, but when I was up at the Birmingham, a few weeks back, a couple of months back, I was telling a story, and I don't often it's very rarely now, but just occasionally, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I was walking past the Wetherspoons chain. This is in Winchester where I lived. I'm not in Winchester anymore, but I was walking. It was about 11 o'clock at night, and suddenly I heard from nowhere this voice saying, "Crookshank, turn round, speak to me, don't ignore me." From nowhere, so
I think that's hilarious. I know Fiona Spencer used to play Vera. Apparently, for years, kids would call to her down the street and shout, "Hey, vinegar tits," which I thought was hilarious. And she took it in good spirits too.
No, absolutely.
So I know you're still acting, but I know you're also doing voiceover work. And obviously you have a bit of a punch-up for accents. What draws you to that? What kind of stuff do you end up doing?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I've always sort of. What's happened for me over the years is I got into other things, into business areas. I'm a great horse racing fan. I became a professional gambler, and a lot of my economic success, believe it or not, has come from there.
Wow.
And I really, really enjoy it. I love it. And so I did so much acting, and I was very happy to let that slip and just do things that I'm asked to do. And occasionally I get asked to do things, and
right.
That's what I do. And I've done a number of voiceovers. I did a thing for the Bill Gates organization about the eradication of polio last year. So 1 or 2 people still know me and ask me to do things. And if I want to do it, I do it. But I don't have an agent. I don't pursue work anymore, which is
right.
rather nice. So,
Absolutely. And isn't that the great thing about being multi-talented? Because I started off in the industry singing, and then went into acting, and then I found I was a good communicator, so I went into broadcasting too. But isn't it a great thing to be able to not do the same monotonous thing every single day of your life?
Absolutely. I mean, I would not want to be. It's quite surprising. I say that to people who are fans of shows and things. I say to them sometimes, you wouldn't believe how difficult if you're just an actor,
right.
even on a real high level. Like Meryl Streep, for instance, would get pissed off that she doesn't get the scripts that she wants.
Right.
There's always something going on, and to be out of that kind of remit of having to always look for work and it's rather nice. So having strings, different strings to your bow, just makes for a richer life, you know.
Absolutely, and I totally agree. Now you've done some of the prisoner fan events. How have you found those? And would you kind of do them again?
Yeah, I mean, I've done. Well, I haven't done that many. I've done. I was a bit nervous about doing the first one, which was about 4 years ago. I did that with probably my greatest friend on the show over the years was Genevieve Lemon.
Right. Yeah, she played. Oh God.
She played. Oh God, what was the character she played?
It'll come to me. I really am a Prisoner Cell Block H aficionado, and usually that would come to me like that.
I can't believe. I think I
Marlene Warren.
Was it Rabbit?
Yeah, Rabbit Warren.
Rabbit Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's the most, and I didn't know this about Jen, and she's the most amazing singer.
Yeah, I've heard her sing. She's amazing.
Well, absolutely. She's played at Sydney Opera House.
Wow.
A band. I mean, she's an extraordinary singer. And she came over, and she was about 3 years ago, and we got together again a lot because she was over here. She took over and played the lead in Billy Elliot in the West End.
Wow. She's someone I've tried to get on the show, but she's very hard to pin down.
Yeah, she's a cat. Well, I mean, have another go, and I'll talk to her and say,
thank you.
Show, you know,
Thank you.
I don't know how the timing would work in Australia. I mean, that's terrible.
Oh, it's the next day.
Australia.
We had Maggie Kirkpatrick on a couple of weeks ago, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. But you know, she was fabulous. I love Maggie. Maggie is like
Mag's great. Yeah.
amazing.
We're not doing Barry, who organises all these fan things up in Birmingham.
Yeah.
She's just done one up in Birmingham, I know, a few weeks back. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was so gutted I couldn't make it, and I couldn't get to the 40th anniversary event in Australia either. But you know, I definitely hope to get to a couple of prisoner events this year. But listen, we are coming to the end of our time together, but I kind of feel like we've just scratched the surface. I would love for you to come back and talk to us again sometime. Maybe we'll do a pre-record next time because I know this is pretty late for most people with it being a show that goes out in America. But tell people where they can find you if you want them to find you. And are you planning on a book or anything like that?
Not really. I guess what's the best way to find me? The best find is I will. They can send an email. It's probably best if they want to get hold of me about anything.
Absolutely. So if anybody wants that, private message me, and I will pass that on to you. If it's
I will send you my email, so you've got
yes,
it, yeah.
if it's not for nefarious reasons, of course.
You've got my email.
I do indeed. And if you want Dennis, if you want Nigel urgently, you can just shout out "Oi Crookshank" in Hampshire, and I'm sure he'll come running.
Absolutely.
Listen, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you, Nigel. Have a great weekend, and I hope to speak to you again very soon.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you, and have a great new decade.
You too. Yes, Happy New Year and Happy Decade.
God bless.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was the fabulous Nigel Bradshaw, a.k.a. the Yorkshire Pud. It was a real great pleasure talking to him. I hope he will come back and join us again. Davey's saying you can find me in the kitchen. Thanks for asking, Xander. Where's my food, Dave? That's what I want to know. And I want a book report from your book. I'm going to do the introduction for my next guest, who is Hawatmeh. She's a fashion icon, designer, and style guru, latterly dipping her toe in the pool of local government. We will find out a little bit more about that very soon. But before she comes on, I'm going to play her campaign video for you right now.
I'm Hawatmeh, a fashion designer and entrepreneur, but I face challenges along the way. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and now I help victims recover. I beat cancer twice. Now I work to find a cure. I've turned hard times into a runway to something better. America faces challenges too. And as a conservative outsider, I'm stepping forward to fix them. I'm Hawatmeh, and I approve this message because we're on a runway to make America great, and we're not going back.
That is the fabulous Hawatmeh. She's running for public office and she is going to join us any second via Skype. You better save me some of that, Dave, whatever it is that you're making. I hope it's chili or something really, good like that. And I'm glad you're still reading the book and liking it. Just waiting for Alla to call us now. I'm hoping everyone's going to get some of Dave's chili or whatever it is that he is cooking. I've been a good boy. I'm still losing weight. I'm still on the keto diet. And I don't feel deprived at all. I mean, occasionally I just want to kind of, eat a whole cheesecake, but I'm being good. I really am. It's hard to do so. It really is hard being good. I occasionally let myself have a bar of chocolate because on keto you can have chocolate if it's 76% cacao, which is a word that always makes me laugh. It sounds like you're calling someone a cow, but stuttering. It's 76% cacao. Yes, so it's going well. I have my weigh-in again soon. I also have my testing for diabetes. And last time I was 1 point away from not being diabetic anymore, which to me is amazing. And those of you that know me and know I've tried so many diets, it's just kind of really exciting to see, the changes that are occurring because of that, that diet. I don't think of it as a diet as much as I think of it as, healthy living. And there's not a lot, well, I say there's not a lot you can't eat. You can't eat rice, you can't eat potatoes, you can't eat bread. And I do miss bread, but, it's a necessary thing. I'm not saying I'll never eat bread again because I really love bread, toasted, etc. With lashings of butter. You see, you can have the butter, but you can't have the bread. Dave said he's having pierogi and Polish sausage. That sounds really nice. I love, what's that Polish sausage that I like? Won't come to me. Cabana, something like that. It is, really is the best Polish sausage that I've tasted. We are just waiting for Alla to call. And she's going to call any second now. Just don't you like it when in the movies when you say, oh yes, that person's going to call and then the phone rings like immediately. I'm just making sure that Alla has the right number. Where are we? 855-363-4747. Yes, that's the correct number. I am just waiting for her to call. And wrong teeth in today. While we wait for her to call, let's go to the live feed and see who's saying what and why. We'll take some calls after the next interview. We're just waiting for Alla to call. Because if I take some calls now, the minute I start taking the calls, she's gonna call in. It's the way that it is. Oh yes, Sari. You lost me for a minute? I don't know how you lost me. You see, this is the thing. The broadcast that I'm doing is going through on the best internet. But sometimes when people... Here we go. So welcome back to the show, the fabulous Hawatmeh. How are you, Alla?
I am good. I'm staying busy with the announcement of this campaign.
Yes, we just played your...
Thank you for having me on.
We just played your... Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. We just played your campaign video. So I'm kind of a bit blown away by this, but I'm very excited because you've gone from being like a fashion designer, a fashion icon, to politics. Now, I actually did see this happening because you've been doing a lot of stuff in the community, a lot of stuff to help people and women. And this was kind of a logical step for you, wasn't it?
It was. I'm a fashion designer, but I don't label myself as a fashion designer. I'm more a philanthropist because I use my gifts and my platform as a fashion designer, as a stylist, to build confidence in others,
Right.
and to make a difference. And that's basically, what I've been doing is working with others and working with people. I'm not the typical politician that's going to, make promises and can't feel with the people what they've gone through and what they're enduring. I've been in their shoes.
Absolutely.
I hear their cries, I hear their struggles, and I want to get my hands dirty and get in there and make a difference.
Wonderful. And now you alluded in your campaign video that you'd been yourself a victim of domestic violence. Is this what has drawn you towards helping others?
That's part of it. I was in a marriage. It was, when you're dealing with the Middle Eastern culture, and I speak about this, and at Capitol Hill I've spoken about this in regards to arranged marriages and the culture, the Middle Eastern culture. I wasn't allowed. It was like a disgrace to be divorced.
Right.
When you're in a marriage in the Middle Eastern culture, you're in it. They don't care, what he can be with 3 women, 4 women. You can be hit, beaten. You can. It's a shame to just call it quits and say, okay, I'm divorcing you.
Right.
And so I struggled with this for years and years, dealing with the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, the physical abuse. And I wasn't allowed, I couldn't go to my parents and cry and run away and tell them, this is what I'm going through. And when I would speak up, they say, well, my family's very faith-based. Well, these are the cards that you were dealt with, just be patient.
Right.
And I look back, it took 2 cancers for me to finally say, no, I will not endure this anymore. I will not go to sleep crying, where my throat is killing me, where I wake up. I will not, be subjected to this anymore.
Absolutely.
And so with the struggles of my sickness and cancer, it gave me the strength. It's like you hit rock bottom, and it kind of like it shoots this adrenaline in you. Where like, okay, your body becomes so numb of pain, where you learn to develop strength, inner strength.
Right.
And that's why I said, okay, the worst has happened to me. If you guys want to disown or whatever, I mean, I've gone through this. I am, your cousin, your daughter, your relative. If I bring shame by being divorced, no, it's shameful to be in a situation like this and say it's okay for other women who are in the same shoes. How can I be an advocate, and how can I help? When I can't help myself.
Right.
So it took that strength, for me to finally recover on my own. Thank God I had my parents, my family's support after seeing me, struggle, and they supported me. And so now I speak up. Anyone, it's hard. No one knows what you're going through as a female. Both sides actually. There are guys that are being abused as well. But as a female who has gone through domestic violence, and either bullying, because my ex was a bully, going through bullying, going through abuse, going through the physical, psychological abuse, tearing you down. No one knows what it's like, and they're like, "Why don't you guys step out? Why don't you just?" It's easy. There's the door.
But it isn't that easy
hard.
in reality, is it? I've known people in these situations, and the first thing people say is, "Oh, I would leave him if I were you." But if there are children in the equation and you have nowhere to go, that's actually easier than said than done, isn't it?
Exactly. exactly. My family's in New York. You know, I couldn't run to them. What? So the family can talk about me and say, oh, well, here's a, you know, labeled as a divorcee. You know, that's like being, you know, it's not looked highly upon.
Right.
I don't care if you have a PhD, you know, you're still a divorcee in the culture. So I really didn't have anywhere to go. And then on top of that, when you have kids, it's even harder. You know, here are my boys witnessing this, and then when they witness this, they become just like, you know, what they see.
Right.
And I don't want them to grow up, you know, saying, okay, it's okay to abuse your wife. It's okay because, you know, they're being told every day, your mother is a piece of, you know,
Right.
do not, if when you guys grow up, you know, if you don't meet someone that's rich, don't marry them, you know, and just teaching them everything that's unethical, but then turning around and preaching the Bible. I mean, how can someone do that, you know?
Oh, believe me, they do. So tell us about the political office that you're running for. What finally made you decide to do it?
Okay, so once I started recovering from breast cancer, I was vice president of the Middle Eastern Women's Coalition. I decided for the first time ever to speak up against suppressed Middle Eastern females who've been in arranged marriages, who've been abused. So speaking at Capitol Hill about this for Trump, of course, Middle Eastern women for Trump. And I would talk about this, and it was therapeutic, and it kind of gave me more of a strength. And this opportunity came to me, and I said, you know what? You know, here I am. I come from, you know, born and raised in New York, and I look around. I want to make a greater difference. I want to make a bigger difference.
Right.
I want to be that head domino that can create a domino effect and have other victims turn around and say, no, we're not victims, we're warriors, and
Right.
we want to make a difference in others, and we want to make a difference in others, you know, by taking their example instead of saying, you know what, pitying me, we're just going to sit back, take advantage of the government, you know, and have more kids and not get a job and do this and that. No, you know, I want to turn the system around, and I started seeing things in a different level, and I figured, okay, if God has, you know, gave me this path and made me stronger, what else can I do? You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
It absolutely
Having
does.
cancer twice, and it didn't kill me. It was, you know, God. It was like God was waking me up. Like, okay, you know, I'm giving you this to serve, to create a purpose, you know, and to serve, and that's what I want to do. I want to serve the Lord, which liberals do not like me using the word, you know, Jesus Christ, and that's what I want to do as well. It's putting faith back into people's hearts. This country, as a first generation, this country, in God we trust. You know, and this is a Middle Eastern American Christian, you know, and that's part of my campaign. That's very important to me.
Right. So
putting faith back into people's hearts, because when I put faith back in their hearts, what does that do? It creates hope. And when you give them hope, it makes them stronger.
absolutely. So you're running for state representative, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. And tell us for which district and which state.
New York, District 19.
Wow. Wonderful. I didn't realize it was New York. We need a lot more conservatives in New York. And New York City is obviously overrun and run by, you know, de Blasio, who is this liberal tyrant who is liberalizing, you know, the whole of the city. And it's a worry, really. We need more fresh conservative blood.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. And it's alarming when I see or hear members of family and friends telling me, nope, don't do it, you know. And everyone's so afraid of, you know, oh, they're going to tear you apart, you know, being in politics, you know, it's not fun, it's the worst thing, they're going to eat you up, you know. First and foremost, foremost, if God's on your side, who's against you? Second of all,
Yeah.
if we're all going to be afraid, then how are we going to make a difference in this world? Let's sit back and see the liberals, take over, and we're just going to, the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, nothing's going to happen. The boundaries of ethics and moralities and values are just going to be pushed and pushed and pushed. And I don't want that to happen.
No.
I love my country. I love the opportunities this country has given my parents, my family, myself. If I was in the Middle East, do you think I would have the freedom I have?
Oh, no.
No way. When I look at Ilhan Omar, and when I look at AOC,
please.
And see what they say, no,
Right.
I will not sit back.
So let me ask you this, as an American, with a foot in both camps, with family in the Middle East, et cetera, et cetera. Do you feel that the President Trump's action to take action against Soleimani and kill him was an apt thing to do?
Absolutely. I back up the president 100%.
Right.
When he has killed over 500 troops and tens of thousands in the Middle East, headquarters for terrorism around the world, and what? The president should sit back and have this continue to happen? It's like, there's no winning with him. I mean, he can, whatever he does is wrong. And if he didn't kill him, they would say, he's for terrorism, and he's for killing the troops.
Right.
And he's for, he doesn't care about the Middle East,
It kind of sometimes feels like...
This is coming from a Middle Eastern American.
It's like he's, sometimes it feels like President Trump is damned if he does and damned if he doesn't with these drippy Democrats. But do you think the tide is turning? Why are they not putting Trump supporters on television? Why are they not putting the Muslims on that support Donald Trump? Why are they not showing those in Iraq and Iran that are glad that this happened and love President Trump for this?
You know why? Because there's one answer. Who controls the media? They're out there.
Right.
The media, just to give us an impression. What he did was such a terrible decision, and now, we're going to go into war because of the president. Here's a man. You look at the numbers of unemployment. You look at the numbers of those who are employed. How he's changing and making America great again as he promised. You don't think that he thought this through? You don't think that he has a plan?
Oh, totally I do. I back him 200%. And the thing is that, the concern for me is how many people did Soleimani have to kill before anybody was going to stop him? Isn't it great that we have a president in the United States that has the balls to stand up to terrorists, because the last idiot was funding them?
Exactly. They don't talk about that.
No.
No, not at all.
$157 billion on pallets. That wasn't spent on feeding people and making sure that people were taken care of medically and with education. That's spent on terror. They are a state sponsor of terror. So tell me, we've talked about some of the things that you're passionate about. What other things are on your platform with regards to things that you'll be fighting for when you win?
Tax. As a small business owner, cutting down taxes, because I want to increase jobs in that district and in New York.
Right.
Pre-existing health conditions. I had cancer twice. I dealt with it.
Right.
When you have pre-existing health conditions, you to get affordable health care, not like, Delgado wants to give free health care to everyone. No. I don't want to enable people and put them in facilities and say, our tax dollars we're just gonna continue. The government is gonna support you, and you can just sit down and do nothing. No. I want to make sure people are get back on their feet, but have affordable health care, and that's another big thing with me. And opiates. Opiates is a huge thing in the district. It's got gone up 50% in the past 3 or 4 years, and nothing's being done. You know, when I see parents with their kids that have died of opiates,
Right.
overdose, and it kills me. And I have teenagers. You know, I never give a reason why I have who I have in my show, but I have a lot of teenagers who have dealt with drugs or abuse with drugs or have one issue or another, and I put them in the show. I don't give them a reason. I just say, these are my models, and it helps them regain their confidence and self-esteem. But we need to find an issue. We need to find a solution to this.
Absolutely.
And there's all these solutions that they keep coming up with are short-term solutions because we're not holding them accountable. Now, if a kid was to go to middle school, you know, and they want to play a sport, yeah, they have to fill out a form, and a physical form from your doctor. Well, I want to make it mandatory where, no, I want it mandatory where we do drug testing and
Right.
and tobacco testing since middle school. I need that. I'm not saying that, you know, your kid is a druggie. No, this is an enforced law that should be going on in starting in middle school.
Right.
Because I want to hold these teenagers accountable. If you don't hold them accountable and you don't care, and the parents are working or the parents are divorced or they have issues of their own, I mean, the kids are lost.
Of course.
They're
And
going to be a product of their environment.
And it's too late when they're dead to do anything about a drug addiction, isn't it? Let's face it. This would precipitate seeing these issues far earlier than they actually are, identified. Now, I want to go back a bit. Do you feel that that President Trump's policies are actually going towards getting out of bed with the drug companies and the health insurance companies?
I'm hoping for that. You know, I'm not. That it's just wishful thinking. I'm really hoping that they will cooperate but I don't know. I mean, it's been going on and numbers are just going up. I just hope that he regulates and enforces some laws to make it.
Exactly, because the pre-existing condition stuff has to change because it just means that some people are going to be uninsurable, and that's kind of like a death sentence for some, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It is. It is sad to witness, and it's sad to hear, and it's sad to watch. So yeah, it is.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we are running out of our time together. How can people help with your campaign?
Okay, I would like any contribution or pledge if they can go to my website, olaforcongress.com.
Absolutely. And if you want to make a donation, that's on the Xander Gibb show page for today. If you want to show your support, what other things can people do to support your campaign? Is that all on the website too?
That is all. That's all on the website as well. Everything. If they go on, they click on the button, and then they can just volunteer or make a pledge. I would love anyone's support.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're starting. I'm like totally grassroots, not a politician, but you know, I'm for the people, and you know, it's I'm part of the district, and as a United States citizen, I want to make a difference.
Absolutely, and God bless you for that. And I look forward to you winning. Please come back if we can help you again and have you on the show and share your information in the run-up to the election. We definitely need more people like you in Congress because let's face it, those that are there on the Democrat side right now really do need replacing.
Yes, they do. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
It's always great to speak to you too. As I said, good luck with your campaign and give my love to our mutual friend when you see her.
Absolutely, I will.
Thank you so much, Ola.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks a lot. that was Alla Hawatmeh. Make sure you go to her website, allaforcongress.com. All of her information is on the Xander Gibb show page for this week. We've probably got time to take one call. If you want to call us, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. If you want to give us a quick call, let us know what you're thinking. I actually, while I was doing the interview, I saw Dave talking about, he put, what do I think about Harry and Merkel? And I thought, what is Harry doing with Angela Merkel? But it's actually Markle with an A, Meghan Markle. So if you rewind, Dave, and go back to the beginning after the show's finished, you'll hear my thoughts on Meghan Markle, or should I say Yoko Markle. So are we going to get a call? 845-363-4747. Call us and tell us what you think. 845-363-4747. If you're calling from the United States, or you could, United States. Did you hear that? I said United States. Because we're moving, baby, in the USA. And you can Skype me at Xander Gibb on Skype, of course. 845-363-4747. I don't think we're going to get a call tonight, but I just saw some people talking about calling in. So I wanted to give the opportunity. Hello to Joe in Florida. See if he's saying something about they blew them to smithereens. Here we go. We have a call. Hello, you're live on the Xander Gibb Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
CV Burton. I'm calling from New York.
Hi, CV. How are you, brother?
I'm doing okay. Just want to say I'm enjoying your show. Good guest.
Thank you.
And Trump did the right thing. And that's all I have to say, I guess.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I agree with you 200%. Why do you think on such an important issue like this that the Democrats are still, blaming Trump and giving him bad rep on this?
Because they're hypocrites. Remember, I think it was last July. No, it was last June when they were calling him a coward for not responding to Iran because they shot down a drone, an unmanned drone.
Right.
And Trump said it's not justifiable to kill 150 Iranians over a drone.
Exactly.
They were trying to coax him into a war. and then this happens, and you have this Soleimani guy and some others and some proxies trying to attack our embassy, kill Americans, take hostages, like in 1979,
right,
where that became a whole thing, because they wanted to hang that on Trump as he's going into the elections. Oh, the hostage crisis. He's inept. He can't handle it. And that's what he was trying to do. He's trying to take hostages and make a whole big crisis out of it. And he failed miserably. And then what did we do? We blew him to smithereens. So,
good.
Excellent.
Good. Well, apparently he finally stopped smoking. But don't you think that should serve as a deterrent? Because the thing is that...
Did I lose you?
Can you still hear me?
Oh, man. Hello?
Hello? Hello? We lost there. I'm not sure if he's going to call back in. What I was going to say is that I'm hoping that this will serve as a deterrent and it will stop. Here we go. Let's... Hello? Don't know what is going on with this guy. Yeah, I was just saying, I hope that's going to be a deterrent and that it will stop other countries thinking that they can mess with the United States. I'm just going to restart the Skype. I'm not sure if Chet is calling back, but we might have time for just one more call. 845-363-4747. 363-4747. CV, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened with the Skype there. But if you want to try calling back to finish your point, you're quite welcome to. We can probably take one more call, 855-363-4747, before we get the weekend going. Seems like nobody's going to call. So thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to actor Nigel Bradshaw and to the fabulous Hawatmeh. Thanks to everyone in the live feed. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to everyone that shared the show. And to those who have an aversion to it, I will pray for you. We will be back next week. If you stick around, you can catch me on the Joe Messina Show, The Real Side, at 7 Pacific, 9 Central, 10 on the East Coast. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will be back with you, God willing, next week on the Xander Gibb Show. I really do. Love you all. I do. It's true. Bye-bye.
Nothing has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. So stand out, baby, this is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander